If I only had $1,000 to spend, these are the 4K projectors I'd buy. JM Go N1 Ultra. This projector completely changes the game with its built-in gimbal design. I haven't seen anything quite this flexible. In my experience, setting this thing up is a breeze. I could point it at the wall, the ceiling, or pretty much anywhere else without needing stacks of books to get the angle right. The triple laser system delivers some seriously punchy and vibrant colors that hold up surprisingly well even with some ambient light in the room. I was watching Dune and the bright sandy scenes looked stunning, while the dark raid sequences were still clear and packed with contrast. However, I did notice some occasional laser speckle, which can be a bit distracting, and the Android TV interface felt a bit sluggish at times. Also, it only has 2 HDMI ports, which feels a bit limited. It is the perfect pick for someone who values flexibility and moves their projector around a lot, or for anyone who's ever wanted to lie in bed and watch a movie on the ceiling. XGIMI Horizon S Pro. The XGIMI Horizon S Pro is all about delivering a stunningly sharp and refined image without a lot of fuss. What surprised me right away was the picture clarity. It uses a pixel shifting technique to achieve 4K, but honestly it's so effective you'd be hard-pressed to tell it's not native 4K without a side-by-side comparison. The combination of LED and laser light sources give it this beautifully balanced color that avoids looking oversaturated. I found its automated setup features like the auto keystone and focus to be incredibly reliable, making it almost plug-and-play. The built-in Harman Kardon speakers are also a step up from typical projector audio. And on the downside, when using digital keystone correction, I noticed a faint glowing halo around the edge of the picture, which was visible on my light-colored walls but disappeared against the darker surface. For anyone who wants a projector that looks stylish, is incredibly easy to set up, and delivers a picture that feels more expensive than it is, this is the one to get. If I had $1,000, I would buy the GM Go N1 Ultra, because its unique gimbal offers unmatched setup flexibility that I find more practical for real-world use than the marginal image differences. If my budget was $2,000, these are the 4K projectors I'd go for. Hisense C2 Ultra. This one completely redefines what you can get at this price. It's a portable projector that genuinely made me question the need for a TV. In my testing, the triple laser system is the star of the show, delivering an image that's incredibly vibrant and bright enough to use even with the lights on. I threw some really dark scenes at it, like the gritty parts of Dune 2, and I was honestly shocked by the level of shadow detail it retained without crushing the blacks. The colors are just phenomenal, covering a massive BT 2020 color space that makes HDR content pop with lifelike saturation. The built-in VIDAA OS is snappy, and having native Netflix with Dolby Vision is a huge plus, something you don't always get. My only real gripe is for serious console gamers. While it's fine for most, I noticed the input lag at 120Hz felt a bit sluggish compared to its performance at 60 or 240Hz. For anyone who wants a versatile all-in-one powerhouse for movies and streaming that you can get easily, move from room to room, this is the one to get. BenQ TK710. The BenQ TK710 is all about giving cameras a competitive edge on a massive screen, and it absolutely delivers on the promise. When I fired this up, the first thing that hit me was the sheer brightness. This thing is a torch, easily cutting through ambient light in my living room, which is a common struggle for many projectors. For gaming, the responsiveness is where it truly shines. The input lag is so low it's practically non-existent, making first-person shooters feel incredibly fluid and immediate. While it's marketed for gaming, I found it holds up surprisingly well for movie night, though its color reproduction at 95% of the Rec. 709 space feels a bit limited and less vibrant compared to others in this price range. I also found that its black levels, while decent, couldn't be deeper for a truly cinematic feel in a dark room. However, it makes up for this with a sharp detailed 4K image and a laser light source that's built to last. This is the perfect projector for dedicated gamers who need maximum brightness and elite response times without wanting to spend a fortune. If I had $2,000, I would buy the Hisense C2 Ultra because its superior color contrast and all-in-one smart features provide a better overall movie watching experience, which is what I prioritize over pure gaming speed. If I had $3,000 to spend, these would be my top 4K projector choices. Epson 5050 UV. The Epson 5050 UV is for the purists who wants a true cinematic movie night experience. It honestly delivers in a big way. The first thing I noticed when I fired it up in my dedicated theater room was the black levels. They are incredibly deep for a projector thanks to what Epson calls ultra black technology. This gives the images phenomenal contrast ratio that makes movies pop in a dark room. Out of the box, the color accuracy is fantastic, so you are seeing films almost exactly as the director intended without much fiddling. I did find it to be an absolute unit though. This thing is huge and not something you'll be moving around often. It's also a bit of a traditionalist machine. It lacks any built-in smart features, Wi-Fi, or support for newer formats like Dolby Vision, sticking to HDR10. For gaming, it's decent for slower-paced, single-player titles, but the input lag and 60Hz refresh rate aren't ideal for competitive play. It's the go-to choice for the dedicated home theater enthusiast who prioritizes stunning, accurate picture quality for movies above all else. Valerium Vision Master Pro 2. The Valerium Vision Master Pro 2 is a totally different beast. This is the projector for someone who wants a versatile do-it-all entertainment hub. The first thing that blew me away was the sheer vibrancy of the image. With its triple laser light source, it covers over 100% of the Rec 2020 color space, which is something you don't see every day. This makes HDR content, especially with its Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus support, look absolutely stunning. At 3000 lumens, it's about 15% brighter than the Epson, making it a much better fit for rooms with some ambient light. For gaming, it's a dream. I clocked an input lag of just 4 ms in 1080p at 240Hz, which is insanely responsive. However, in my testing, I did notice some occasional mild rainbow effect, and getting the placement just right can be tricky since it lacks lens shift. It uses a long-lasting laser light source rated for 25,000 hours, so you won't be swapping bulbs. This is the perfect projector for the modern user who wants a bright, colorful, and feature-packed machine for movies, TV, and serious gaming in a regular living room. If it were my money, I would buy the Valerium Vision Master Pro 2 because its modern features, superior brightness, and incredible gaming performance offer more versatility for everyday entertainment beyond just a dark theater room. Here's what I'd buy if I only had $4,000 to spend on a 4K projector. Epson LS11000. The Epson LS11000 is what I call the purest choice. It's for building a dedicated home theater. The first thing that struck me when I fired up was the sharpness. The lens on this thing is exemplary, rendering 4K content with a clarity that genuinely rivals an 84K projector, which is impressive for a pixel-shifting model. Colors felt accurate right out of the box without me having to dive into calibration menus for an hour. I put it through its paces with some fast-paced 4K 120Hz gaming, and the motion handling was incredibly smooth and responsive, giving it a serious edge over competitors that cap out at 60Hz. My only real gripe is that in a room that isn't perfectly blacked out, you lose some of that deep contrast it's capable of, though its black levels are still better than most DLP projectors I've tested. This is the projector for the movie lover who has a light-controlled basement or den and wants an uncompromised full-light picture for movies and high frame rate gaming. Hisense PX3 Pro. This one completely redefines what you can get at this price, especially for a living room setup. The Hisense PX3 Pro is an ultra-short throw projector, and its main party trick is convenience paired with jaw-dropping performance. I just placed it on a media console and boom, a massive, vibrant screen. In my experience, its 3000 lumens of brightness really deliver, producing a punchy, colorful image that holds up surprisingly well even with some ambient light in the room. But what honestly blew me away was the gaming performance. The 240Hz mode is not a gimmick, and playing fast-paced shooters felt incredibly fluid and responsive. The built-in Harman Kardon soundbar is another highlight, offering an audio experience that's powerful enough that you don't immediately need to hook up an external system. On the downside, it's very picky about the surface. You'll need a dedicated USD screen, as any tiny imperfection on a wall becomes noticeable. The PX3 Pro is the perfect choice for someone who wants a massive screen for both movies and serious gaming in a multi-purpose space like a living room, without the hassle of a traditional ceiling mount installation. If I had to spend my own $4,000, I would buy the Hisense PX3 Pro because its combination of ultra-short throw convenience, outstanding brightness for mixed-use rooms, and a game-changing 240Hz refresh rate offers more versatility for my day-to-day use. Now let's dream big. If I had infinite money to spend on 4K projectors, these would be my picks. Sony VPL XW5000ES. This projector is the one for the purists. It really redefines what you should expect at this price point in terms of pure image fidelity. In my experience, the moment you turn it on, the 84K SXRD panel just delivers a knockout punch. The black levels are incredibly deep and rich, something you'd immediately notice in dark scenes where other projectors, especially laser ones, can sometimes struggle. I found the colors to be stunningly accurate right out of the box, and its X1 Ultimate processor gives the image a sharpness that almost makes you feel like you're looking at a giant OLED TV. However, to hit this price, Sony did make some compromises. I was disappointed to find that less controls are manual, which feels like a step back and makes the initial setup more fiddly than it should be. While its 2000 lumens are great for a darn dedicated theater room, it can't quite compete with brighter bottles if you have ambient light. It's the perfect choice for the dedicated cinephile building a proper home cinema who values native 4K contrast and color accuracy above all else. Epson LS12000. The Epson LS12000 is an absolute powerhouse of a projector that surprised me with its versatility. The first thing that hits you is the brightness. At 2700 lumens, it's significantly brighter than the Sony, and in my testing, it holds up remarkably well even when there's some light in the room. This makes it a far more practical choice for a living room or multi-purpose space. While it uses pixel shifting to achieve a 4K image rather than a native chip, the detail and clarity are outstanding, getting incredibly close to what I see from native 4K models. What I really love is the installation flexibility. The motorized lens with its huge amount of shift range makes setting it up an absolute breeze compared to the manual Sony. The trade-off is that its black levels and overall contrast, while very good, don't quite match the depth and cinematic quality of the Sony. For gamers, the input lag is impressively low, making it a fantastic option for fast-paced action. This is the one for the person who wants a brilliant, sharp and punchy 4K image for everything from movies to sports and gaming in a regular living room, not just a blacked-out cave. If I had to spend my own money, I would buy the Sony VPL XW5000ES because for a dedicated movie room, its superior native contrast and more cinematic black levels create a more immersive experience. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you pick the best 4K projectors for you. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Links to all of the products mentioned in this video will be in the description. Alright, peace out.